If you're looking to upgrade to a 5G phone, or you just want to buy a new one, you might be wondering, which 5G phones offer the best value at the moment? In this video, we've taken a look at 5 of the best 5G phones on the market right now, in terms of value for money, given the performance of each phone, and how much it costs at the moment. But before we get started, if you're looking for a new phone, or SIM-only deal, make sure to click the link in the description to come to greensmartphones.com. Just use the search bar here to look for the phone you want to buy, or search for SIM-only. Then you can find the cheapest tariffs on the market, no matter when you're considering buying, from all of the major networks. So it's been a while since the Samsung Galaxy S24 was released, and since then, its pricing has come down a lot, making it a really good value option if you want a new 5G phone. Currently, as you can see on greensmartphones.com, you can get it for about £23 a month on a 36-month contract on the 3 network, which is really good value, especially given you also get a 150GB monthly data limit. Performance-wise, the camera setup and its processor are the two standouts of this phone, and it also comes with other specs you'd expect from a flagship phone, like a really good pixel density and an IP68 dust and waterproof rating. This phone performs really well for basically any use case, including gaming, and its battery also performs really well, even though it's only 4000 mAh instead of the 5000 or so you get on the S24 Ultra. The only downside to these deals from 3 is 36 months is quite a long time to commit for, so let's filter down to 24-month deals. If you want a shorter contract and want to pay off the phone sooner, you'll pay £27 a month with ID Mobile, which is a decent bit more expensive, but still really good value, especially given you also get a 500GB monthly data limit. The one downside to the S24 for some people is the screen isn't huge, at just 6.2 inches. That's where the Google Pixel 9 Pro can come in. It's a bit more expensive at about £30 a month, but comes with a slightly bigger screen, without costing a huge amount of money. Again, these contracts from O2 are quite long, at 48 months, and they only come with 25GB of monthly data. But fortunately, if we scroll down a bit, you can get the phone for basically the same average monthly cost, although you will pay a bit more upfront, with 3, giving you a much higher monthly data limit, and a 36-month contract instead of 48. Really, these 3 deals are better than these O2 ones. They're normally worth paying a bit more for, as long as you don't mind the higher upfront cost. In terms of performance, Google's Tensor G4 chip is the real star of the show, performing really well under high-intensity workloads like 4K streaming, gaming, or just multitasking, like navigating, making calls, and taking photos at the same time, as well as powering Google AI features, like they have a photo editor where you can remove and add people to pictures and that sort of thing, which you don't get on a lot of cheaper phones. The dust and water resistance is good, and so are the cameras, as you'd expect on a Google Pixel phone. If you're on a tighter budget, or don't really need a flagship phone with AI features and that sort of thing, it's definitely worth looking at the Samsung Galaxy A55. It starts at about £18 a month, about £10 a month less than the other 2 phones we've looked at so far, with just a 24-month contract and a pretty decent 100GB monthly data limit. A quick side note, if you want more data, just use this slider here to only show deals with unlimited data, for example, like this one, or to lower the data limit if you want to save money. Given what it costs, the size of this phone, and its screen resolution, as well as its refresh rate, are all really good. The screen is pretty amazing on this phone really. The only thing you lose out on is that extra bit of resolution for watching 4K video and that sort of thing. But most of the time, you won't notice this. The processor is downgraded a bit compared to S24 devices, but the cameras perform really well. You still get dust and water resistance, and this phone even comes with a memory card slot, which isn't the case on the S24 or S24 Ultra. This phone is really unbeatable in terms of value for money. The one thing we will say about these deals though, is the upfront cost is a bit high. So let's say we want to pay less than £20 a month upfront. There are deals available, but the monthly cost does rise a bit, increasing your average monthly cost to just under £22 a month, and the data limit is a lot lower. So if you do want to buy this phone at the moment, those earlier deals, with a higher upfront cost, are often a better choice. if you want an Apple 5G phone, the iPhone 16 is worth looking at because prices have come down a lot since it was launched. On 3, you can currently get this phone for just under £31 a month, which is pretty good for a current gen iPhone, especially with this high of a data limit. Honestly, we're not really Apple people, and given what you pay, these specs aren't really amazing. So really, you're buying this device for Apple specific features that you can't get on Android at the moment, such as emergency SOS and crash detection and that sort of thing, as well as being in the Apple ecosystem, which is just easier if you have a lot of Apple devices like Apple TV and an Apple Watch. But we will say, compared to the other phones we've looked at, the water and dust proofing is really good on the iPhone 16, rated it up to 6 meters for 30 minutes, which is a lot more than you get with some other phones. Honor's phones are quite different from the competition. What they offer, with the Magic 6 Pro in particular, is a lot of storage, really good cameras, a big screen, and a huge battery capacity for a very reasonable monthly cost. It's sort of like paying for similar specs to the S24 Ultra, including obviously 5G compatibility, for about £10 less per month, which is a really good deal. Very few other phones come with a battery this big at the moment, and it's only really phones like the S24 Ultra that offer camera setups like this, not to mention screens this big, although the resolution is a bit lower than on the S24 Ultra. The refresh rate is nice and high though, and you get dust and water resistance, as well as a really good chipset. These deals from 3 are really unbeatable, and if you don't want to pay £80 up front, they also have other options. If you don't mind paying a higher monthly cost, and if you don't want a 36-month contract, you can choose ID Mobile, buying through E2Save, but the monthly cost for this is quite a lot higher. Remember, click the link in the description to greensmartphones.com to compare the cheapest prices on this phone, or any of the other phones we've looked at in this video, or any other phone at all on the market, and save money when shopping. And if you have any questions about choosing a 5G phone to buy, leave us a comment and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.